Welcome to Pulse, the Cheetah Product Podcast. I'm Patrick Tripp, SVP of Product Marketing at Cheetah Digital, joined today by our STEAM leader, Chief Product Officer at Cheetah Digital, Bill Ingram. Bill, how are you?
I'm good, Patrick. Good to see you. Happy to be here.
It's great. It's after 9 episodes, we've been able to finally get you here to join the podcast and talk to us about all things, your background, your history, talk a little bit about your philosophy on product strategy. We'll talk about what we're hearing from customers in the market, the personalization opportunity we see, and then what's next for Cheetah. So a lot to cover.
Awesome. Let's get after it.
Welcome back to Pulse, the Cheetah Product Podcast. I'm Patrick Tripp, joined today by Bill Ingram, our 9th episode of Pulse. And what a week, Bill. This has been a long road through Signals, and we're finally through, and excited to get you on the podcast.
Happy to be here. It only took 9 weeks. I was hoping to be number 10, but I'll take number 9. The week has been phenomenal. Lots of really great content, amazing customer stories, and some really great product launches that I'm super proud of. And now it's time to take a little break.
That's right. It's like a shot in the arm. All the adrenaline and excitement over the last 9 weeks really culminated this week with our announcement of Cheetah Personalization. Some great sessions at Signals with your keynote. We filmed on the Green River in Utah. We'll get into that in a minute. But I always say with the Pulse podcast, we try to weave in a little bit of music. And as a part of Signals, for folks that have watched, you may have noticed Tommy Lee from Motley Crue is a big part of the entire Signals series. He's one of the honorary guests and promoters of the event. But I guess, Bill, I'm a big jazz guy, but I think you're more of a rock guy. I don't know if Motley Crue, was that a big band for you back in the day?
It was. And I don't think, apparently my session wasn't big enough to have a Tommy Lee promo.
Right.
But I thought it was super cool. I'm a product of the late 80s and early 90s, and classic rock was my thing. I have a pretty broad spectrum of music taste. The only thing I can't listen to is country music, but the rest, I'm pretty good with.
Fantastic. Yeah, I was a big Guns N' Roses guy back in the early 90s, late 80s. And it was either Guns N' Roses or Motley Crue. And there's a little bit of crossover there. But
Poison, you can't really...
And Poison maybe in the middle. Fantastic. Yeah. So for those that didn't watch Signals, please do check it out. There's a lot of Tommy Lee, a lot of Easter eggs throughout this entire 9-week series. But Bill, we want to talk about you today and really learn a little bit more about your background. I had the opportunity to work with you briefly back at Adobe, but your history goes way back before that, from Omniture and others. So maybe you can talk a little bit about your history in the industry.
Yeah, I mean, I started early on in SaaS, solving some pretty basic problems for financial services companies, trying to get their digital footprint online with online banking, online cash management, and online brokerage solutions. Went to Omniture pretty early in that kind of evolution of the company, and had a great experience there. Really learned how to solve problems, grow a SaaS business with really smart people, really aggressive type A people. It's just a really great experience all around. And we got to keep that going at Adobe. After Adobe acquired us in 2009, I was able to go do a bunch of acquisitions, one of which you were a part of, and that's where we got to know each other, where I kind of saw your superpowers and what you can do as a leader. And just super fortunate to be able to run a business for Adobe in the MarTech landscape, in an area where significant growth was happening, significant digital disruption, and do it surrounded by really smart people that just really wanted to solve customer problems. And I couldn't be more grateful for that experience. It's just been super helpful for me as I've kind of gone on about my career, and many of the things that I learned, I'm applying here at Cheetah as well. So I think some of that playbook stuck with me.
Fantastic. Yeah. And here you are at Cheetah Digital now, 18 months in as Chief Product Officer. Maybe you could talk a little bit about your remit at the company and your focus. I know it's a pretty broad swath, from engineering to product to support, but.
Yeah, the way I think about it, it's not rocket science. I'm responsible for the product. So anything to do with the customer's experience with the product. And traditionally you think about that as innovation, R&D, product management, and strategy. But it also goes all the way into how customers, from the time in which they sign a contract through their implementation cycle, through their usage cycle, through their first renewal cycle, and really the value that we bring to the table for them during that work. I kind of view that as my remit, and focused on driving growth, driving retention, and the metrics you need to really drive a profitable kind of successful SaaS organization, and really focusing the organization on growth and innovation. So responsible for all of that, including support, and I also for some reason have corporate IT, which I'm grateful for because I always have I always get the upgrades before everybody else.
Right. You see all the different angles of the whole process. So it's fascinating, and it's great to be a part of your leadership team. And it's just exciting times here at Cheetah Digital. I don't know, maybe you could talk about the philosophy that you have as a leader. How do you kind of lead your team? What are your core kind of values, I guess, as you think about product strategy?
Yeah, I mean, I think about product strategy pretty simply. It's our job as product leaders is to solve customer problems and do it elegantly. And if you solve the right customer problems, you're going to get commercial success for doing that. And where the I guess where the value comes in the sausage making process of innovation in a B2C kind of B2B software environment is solving the right problems that add outcomes that our customers can rely on. And so, I've learned very early on that was the key to success. So I saw that at Omniture, I saw it again at Adobe, and I'm replicating that playbook here. So super interested in talking to customers about where they're going, the strategy that they're executing on, how our products fit into that strategy, and then how I kind of push that down into the team is we're always focused on building the better mousetrap, doing something faster than somebody else, better than somebody else, and focused on a huge dose of customer empathy and helping them drive the outcomes that they need. My experience tells me that if you do that and you do it well, you're going to be successful in anything that you do. And so, that's our focus here. I encourage my teams to always lead out, always empathetically represent the customer, lift where they stand, do their job really, really well. I try to hire people around me that have superpowers that I don't. And that's also a critical recipe of success, of surrounding yourself with really smart people that are driven, motivated, and equally passionate about solving this problem of helping marketers drive customer relationships at scale in a highly personalized way for B2C marketers. That problem is there's a lot of pieces of that market problem that are ripe for innovation, and surrounding myself with people who are passionate about that is also key to success, I believe.
Love it. Love it. Yeah. And solving customer business challenges and problems is really the heart of it. Maybe you can talk a little bit about what are the big themes you're hearing from customers? You meet with some of the biggest brands in the world, some of the global leaders of these organizations, and maybe you can talk about some of the key themes that are emerging from our customers and prospects out there.
Sure. I think about that in some broad categories. I think, as we get out and talk to customers, a couple of things become very apparent to me. And to a certain extent, it's driven by the macroeconomic climate that we find ourselves in today. But the first thing I would mention is campaigning as a discipline, right? Campaigning in a single channel with a single outcome objective, as a discipline seems to be something that really smart marketers want to move beyond. They want to start thinking about customer engagement, knowing their customers better, respecting their customers, and thinking about their engagement with their customers in the context of a journey versus an outbound driven campaign. So moving from kind of billboard marketing to relationship marketing in the context of journeys, I think that's a trend that we see. And encompassed in that trend is really respecting people's time, right? I frequently hear customers say, listen, I don't want to send more stuff. I want to send the right stuff at the right time.
Right.
And that's critical. That tells me that that maturation process of moving from outbound campaigns and thinking about outcomes as conversion rates to, hey, we're running programs and journeys, and we respect our customers' time, and we're giving them the things that they need at the time that they need it. So that's a key trend that we hear.
Yeah, and it's not your traditional grandmother's journey either, right? I mean, journeys have been in the market for a long time. You know, there are ways to sequence steps to customers. There are multi-stage campaigns that marketers are mainly trying to create. But how do you see journeys really evolving? What is the next gen of journeys, in your opinion?
So, we've seen everything that you just mentioned and in between. And I think our perspective, what really makes our orchestration and journey personalization technology the appropriate thing for customers to think about now is you don't have to think about a flat journey with a bunch of decision criteria in it. You can, if that's what you want to do. We've looked at journeys from what's my overall relationship with a customer and what outcome do I want to achieve, and how do I want to achieve that outcome. It's pretty easy to think about personalization of a journey to say, all I want to do is I want to clear product off my shelf at a 40% discount. That's the easy work.
Right.
Helping a customer think through how do I bring lifetime value into that? How do I bring the concept of product margins into that equation? And how do I respect my relationship over time with a customer and really think about their intent? That requires tech that hasn't been invented yet, in my opinion, and we are inventing that technology.
Fascinating. Yeah, really cool. Obviously, with our customers, a lot has changed this year with COVID-19, and the climate has really shifted. It's really changed the game, right? And I don't know if you have any comments about, how you see customers evolving there and how we're able to help them.
I think I mentioned earlier about the macroeconomic changes that we see in our marketplace, and I think everybody feels that acutely with COVID-19. I think some of the customer trends that underpin that is the rise of e-commerce, right? Which wasn't a trend that just happened with COVID. It was a trend well ahead of that. Those customers that have been able to figure that out and run it at scale are really benefiting from this economic climate today. And that includes retailers, it includes finance, it really encompasses every vertical that we do business with, even quick serve restaurants that have
Right.
figured out how to actually manage an experience for a customer without them coming in to a place that requires footfall traffic or a place that requires sit down access. So digital is disrupting that. So I think COVID-19 has really required every single brand across every single vertical market opportunity to rethink about their digital transformation strategies. And that's benefited vendors like Cheetah. And I think those who are doing it well are managing this climate. Those who haven't, those who've been laggards in that transition are struggling and rethinking their investment strategy into digital right now.
Definitely. I agree. It's all about digital transformation at this point in the fast eat the slow in this market. There's some great opportunities out there still for brands to really reinvent themselves and push themselves forward. And speaking of digital transformation, maybe you can talk a little bit about how content is a part of that journey, right? Content and personalization are trends, themes that we've talked about for a long time, but I feel like they're really evolving as well as companies really shift their strategies.
Totally. I think, the business problem that we hear is customers wanting to unlock the investments that they've made in really brilliant content investments, really what I think is really smart work in some of those areas. So we've done some things around unlocking content for personalization work that goes outside of the content's presentation. Personalization is a pretty as a concept, it's long in the tooth, right? It's
Right.
You either came at personalization through, a bunch of variant testing engines, or maybe some one-to-one targeting engines, or product recommendations or site search tooling. Those things are all long in the tooth technologies. They're very specific to a channel. Where we see opportunity and why I think the market is ripe for disruption with a new technical platform to solve this problem is channel and context is critical. Intelligence is needed. You can't just go and deploy an MVT testing tool on your web pages and have that work for personalization anymore. It's just not good enough. Customers require more. The customers that our brands are doing business with need better. Brands have to do better. And to do that, it requires them to rethink about how they put content to work with a personalization engine at its core to make the right decision for the right customer at the right time. And a lot of people say that, but it's different to do that across an entire enterprise versus doing it in a specific channel, which I think is not acceptable anymore.
Yeah, these technology vendors emerged over 20 years ago and very much focused on anonymous-based insights and targeting and multivariate testing and things like that. But it still seems that data is the ongoing challenge that marketers face. We see that in some research from Gartner talking about data integration, data privacy, first in what we would call zero-party data. But data becomes a crucial issue that it becomes a centerpiece of personalization.
100%. I think you think about channel and what I would call context, the content that you want to deliver. So the offer, all the stuff that's applicable to the content. And then you've got the data that you need to make really smart decisions. And the thing that I'll mention about data is it's ever evolving. You can't, the thing that I've learned is you can't get to the point where you feel like your data is good and you bless it and then you go on and just run your marketing programs for another couple of years. You're always thinking about, oh man, if I had this attribute about a segment of my customers, I would be able to do some really smart targeting. Right. And those are the use cases that I think, our technology is meant to enable.
Right. Yeah, fascinating. And we announced that this week on November 10th, we announced Cheetah Personalization, a next generation solution that allows marketers to engage, across channels and really deliver a value exchange in the moment. But maybe you could talk a little bit about the Cheetah Personalization solution that we brought to the market this week.
Yeah, super proud of what the team has accomplished. Many of these efforts have been in partnership with customers that have come and presented a business problem to us and said, "Hey, can you help me solve this problem as I look to reinvent what I'm doing with personalization in my business?" And so we've launched a solution that we call Cheetah Personalization. Has 3 core capabilities in it. One is a real-time interaction management capability that allows our customers to either sense and react in real time across any channel. It includes a product that we're calling, or a capability that we're calling Journey Designer, which is what I talked about a little bit earlier with orchestrating a journey and having that orchestration be primarily driven outcome based. So we've done some interesting things for us. I actually think any campaign is a journey at this point. I think actually journeys may end up eating the traditional version or the traditional view of what a campaign is. But our perspective is a journey can be as simple as an event that triggers some action, a complex multi-stage, multi-time horizon oriented journey, or journey across a variety of different touch points within an enterprise overall. Something that started with marketing and ended in the call center or ended in a physical store. Those are the way, that's the way we're currently looking at our ability to deliver journeys. And one of the things that I'm super happy about is rather than dumping somebody into a blank canvas to say, "Hey, go design your journeys," either from an analytics perspective or from scratch, we're bringing thought leadership to the table in the form of best practice templates that you deploy these templates and revenue and outcomes go up, and you take them down and revenue goes down. And so we've already thought through many of the, what I would call table stakes journeys out there across verticals and made them templates. So it's very easy to drive adoption and outcomes for marketers. And we've done that because, fundamentally, it's hard to go do these things, right? Journeys touch different channels. They touch different operators. There may be even budget categories that are different inside of an enterprise. And we wanted to just take that all off the table and focus on outcomes. So we focused on building a really strong templated approach to it. And then lastly, it includes a capability we're calling intelligent offers, essentially building on top of a very powerful offer management infrastructure in our platform. We've added the ability to do personalization, hyper-personalized recommended offers in that construct as well, that are ML aware and data aware. So there's no reason to give an offer in any channel that isn't appropriate for that consumer. Why give me an offer for 40% off when I'm not price conscious? Right. So the concept of intelligent content and offers on top of a data set with a personalization engine is, I think, changing the game for many of our customers today. And we're seeing it in the results as they deploy the technology as well.
Yeah, I really see this as a blending of key markets that are out there, with the traditional web personalization vendors, attempted to do, where journey design solutions out there, and of course, real-time interaction vendors. And then, machine learning also plays a key contributing role here. And maybe you can talk about that.
Yeah, I think machine learning is that term that everybody throws around, and you can do, pieces of machine learning in areas of a solution like ours, and say, hey, we're doing it, right? The reality is, I think the technology enables us to move from what was human-based decisions around campaign execution that moved to segment kind of based operations, to now we can actually think about delivering autonomous marketing programs that are aware of a customer, their context, the channels, the offers that they have available to them, and kind of automate the process of marketing, and then allow marketing strategists to tweak content to do the strategy work that ultimately is really great for a human to do. But a machine can really make a good decision about, I've got 200,000 SKUs and 400,000 offers that I can apply to those SKUs. Which one do I use right in this moment?
Right.
Like, that's an ideal situation for a machine to solve that problem. And you don't need to get a merchandiser in there. You don't need to get a campaign manager in there to make those decisions. The machine can do it in the right way. And technology's evolved to the point where it's not a race to the bottom anymore with a biased result. You actually can get really strong lift by letting AI and ML take some of that heavy lift. And we're seeing an acceleration in that work because marketing programs and marketing teams are inherently getting squeezed. They're being asked to do more with less budget, with less people, and that's a primary sweet spot for ML and AI to drive value for a brand.
Yeah, I always say machine learning is becoming more and more accessible for marketers. It's really helping them remove
100%.
that tactical, practical work, let them focus on creativity and strategy. So yeah, really exciting to learn about Cheetah Personalization. So what's next for Cheetah, Bill, over the next year or so? What are the major things and themes you're thinking about as you move forward?
So, we've kind of touched on them here. One of the major themes that we're thinking about is, how do we drive really fast adoption of highly uh, uh, impactful technology to a marketing organization that has operated in a consistent way for the better part of a decade. So what can we do from a simplification in integration perspective to drive as much adoption as we can, so that we can help our customers drive those, hey, I need to deliver better results, and I need to do it with smaller budgets and smaller size teams. And so simplification is one of those things. We're trying to make as much as we can available out of our core data platform. The things that it does really, really well, we've invested the last 5 years on making that core data platform work for our customers. Now we're making investments to push that as far to the edge as we can, so that in the moment, in any opportunity that our customers have, they can call our services. They have the right APIs around them to make them go. We're going to continue to invest in platform services and data, because we talked about data being the primary reason why customers aren't successful in doing marketing programs today. So we're going to continue to invest in our platform services as well. And we're investing quite a bit in AI and ML technologies as well, but maybe a little bit different than others. We're not trying to create a horizontal bit of tech that needs a bunch of integration to go work and is focused on developers. We want to deploy those technologies to help drive an outcome for a marketer, which means it has to be accessible, easy to use, but powerful at the same time. So those are some of the things that we're thinking about in terms of our forward investments. And we have to continue to be really, really good. We are really, really good at engagement, and really, really great at driving loyalty programs for our customers. And we need to continue to do those things as well, on top of pushing innovation into our product platforms as well.
Love it. Love it. It's all about end-to-end customer engagement, everywhere from acquisition to engagement to retention and an ongoing customer life cycle. So Bill, this has been great. Thank you so much for your time. And yeah, we look forward to talking to you more down the road, but thank you very much.
Happy to do it, Patrick. Glad to be here. And let's do it again soon.
Awesome. Thank you.
Take care.